Hi there, Leander here. You are watching video number 3 in our practice development strategy implementation sessions. And to recap, in our first session, we spoke about those two concepts, right? Action and value. So today we're going to delve a bit deeper into the concept of value. And in our second session, I shared with you the concept of simplicity, right? Building a simple practice. Let's just revisit the learning we acquired there. So we said that to make your practice more profitable, you need to actually make it simpler and not complex. Remember, simple is beautiful and complex is ugly. Remember the rose and the ugly jumper. Okay, what does it mean? It means we shouldn't be striving to add more practice areas. Why? Because obviously it makes your business more complex. So if you have 3, you don't need 6 or 9 practice areas if you have 3 valuable practice areas. Instead, take those existing core practice areas and optimize them. As the saying goes, optimize before you maximize. And most businesses and firms and practices would do well just doing whatever they're doing so much better than the competition. That's where value lies. So what you want to do, and I'm going to share with you a story in a moment, is to scale value before attempting to scale your practice. What does that mean? Let me take you back to the beginning of 2024. I spent some time with a really good friend of mine, an amazingly successful CEO of an IT company who started from very humble beginnings. And when I started speaking with him about scaling and how does one scale, he said, "But Leander, have you spent time scaling the value of your consulting firm before even attempting to scale the actual firm?" And his words dwelt with me and stayed with me for a long time. And I then went back and I went and looked at what the core elements of my business were. And I just worked really hard since the beginning of this year to be better at everything. This presentation didn't look this way when I presented it to a previous cohort in about 2024, you could say September, meaning I took what I did then and I just scaled the value. I made it better. The platform is different. I didn't present it on this platform and the slides look better and sharper. So what we want to achieve is a focus on enhancing the value of your core, meaning profitable practice areas. Remember, in the first video, I said we'll use the segmentation, profitability, and competitiveness tool that I built to analyze in which segments do you do business and which of those segments are actually profitable. So you want to focus on enhancing the value of those core profitable practice areas. This is an image that I borrowed from a book called Profit from the Core by the authors Zook and Allen. And they say, and if you reach out to me, I will share with you an extract, but that's on demand only and on request only. So they share the thinking over about 20 years of research that the most successful businesses, and you can apply that to practices as well, focus on the core areas of their businesses, which is right in the middle, and logical adjacencies, but they avoid shiny objects like the plague because those tend to be distractions. So, as I promised in our previous video, today we're going to talk about reeling in the right clients. Now, I know you're going to say, "Ooh, great, Leander's going to teach me how to hook these really juicy fish in the form of clients with respect to them." I'm going to focus more on helping you build on the concept of value, right, and profitability, and ask you to focus on the right clients from the perspective of value and profitability. So the first insight is really to understand that our friend Wilfred Pareto, who was the father of the 80-20 principle, his principle applies equally to marketing of your practice, not just developing your practice, but also marketing it. In a sense, those are two different things. What do I mean by that? Let's unpack that. 80% of your marketing return on investment will come from only 20% of your efforts. Believe me, it's true. And I'm going to show you a formula that you can use to go and calculate and see whether that was in fact the case the last time you spent some money on marketing. So what we want to do is focus on the small number, 15 to 20% of your clients, but it's the profitable clients. After you've done the segmentation and profitability analysis, you want to focus on. Some people talk about golf days. I had a client once who said, we took R1 million and threw it against the wall and saw if it stuck. Now, they were fortunate enough to have R1 million, but not all of us have R1 million. Perhaps some of us only have 10,000 Rand. I had 24,000 Rand, and I'll show you how I invested that and am calculating my return on marketing investment as far as that marketing spend is concerned. You want to focus on the small number of profitable clients. So all my marketing, really, what you see on LinkedIn is what we call broadcasting. But my word of mouth and my discussions and my business development is really focused on my existing clients, which is a very, very small percentage of all my clients. So you want to focus on them instead of the irrelevant 80% majority. I'm returning to the idea of hosting an event or a golf day. Why would you invest or invite at least 80% of those clients that only bring 20% of the revenue? Wouldn't it be smarter to just take the whole budget and spend it on the 20% of the clients who are already loyal to you and who would bring you 80% of your revenue? Just think about that. 20% of my clients bring 80% of my revenue, yet we spend as if all clients are equal, and they're not, and they know that. And so I want to encourage you to once again apply the lens of 80-20 thinking. Profitable marketing means return on marketing investment, meaning that you can actually show a return on the investment you made. And I alluded to that earlier. Let's take an example. So here's the formula. You have, between parentheses, the increase in fees or revenue, less the marketing cost divided by the marketing cost under the line. Let's use an example. Earlier this year, I decided to spend 24,000 Rand on a marketing initiative, 3 months of 8,000 Rand. Now, fortunately for me, that has landed me 100,000 Rand in new revenue. And if you apply the formula, you'll see it equals 316% or 3.16 times the marketing spend, because you deduct 24 from 100 and you divide 76, which is the product, divide by 24 gives you 3.16 or 316%. So in my case, I had a positive return on marketing investment. But I want to suggest that the R1 million that the person I spoke to a couple of years ago, which you would insert here where the 24 is, did not bring a positive return on marketing investment, meaning if they didn't generate R1 million of new business, it's a negative, right? So go and do the math yourself and see. For example, say they only wrote 500,000 Rand in new business. It's 500,000 less R1 million divided by R1 million, right? And that gives you a negative return on marketing investment. So here are my questions to you. Firstly, which are your core profitable practice areas? Go and look at your segmentation and profitability and competitiveness analysis. Go and look at it again. Go and spend some time and say, these are actually the profitable areas. Then, which clients in those profitable segments are the small majority? In other words, who are the 3 or 4 or 5 clients who are driving all the revenue and the profit in those practice areas? And if you have access to the numbers, and if you don't, ask your financial director, and he'll tell you your share of a previous marketing initiative. Go and do the calculation. Use the formula and say, well, what new work did I receive? Less the cost of the marketing initiative divided by the cost of the marketing initiative. And am I in the positive or in the negative? The next session, which is a whole new session, it's not part of understanding the principles of practice development strategy, but it has more to do with unearthing client expectations. We'll cover existing or new clients, and I'll help you understand how much time you should spend on listening, super pleasing, and nurturing existing clients versus broadcasting and courting your new clients. Thanks for watching. Cheers.